Well, good afternoon. You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click the live stream tab or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube at WCEG Network. I am Celeste Giordano, your show host, and this is the Global Legacy and Wealth Building for the next hour. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio and at WCEG Network. And last but not least, our disclaimer, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guest and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you, Penny Rogers and the WCEG Network for the opportunity to serve this community. Well, good afternoon, Bill. How are you today, sir?
Good afternoon to you, Celeste, and good afternoon to WCEG. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be back again. Oh, gosh, how long has it been?
Well, it was in the fall, I think. It was about September or October of last year, about the same time.
Yeah, well, we're making our annual rounds. It's not autumn until Bill and Celeste converse, wax poetic, and share what we have with the WCEG community. It feels great to be back, and I'm really appreciative of the opportunity. Thanks.
Absolutely, Bill. We appreciate you. You bring so much value and content to our listeners and our audience, and also very excited. You're also part of the founder of Spire, a networking event, which is something that I had the pleasure to be a guest speaker last year around this time again. And it was just an amazing time, amazing group of people. So I'm super excited about this show. And I'm going to tell a little bit about you, but the title of this show was just awesome. I just fell in love with it, Bill. And it's called The Fourth Quarter Mentality, the Mindset of a Winner. And the last 90 days of the year can go one of two ways. You can mail it in and say, I'll just wait until next year. Or you can say, I'm going to leave it all out there and I'm going to go do everything I possibly can to achieve and accomplish what I set out to accomplish at the very beginning of the year. And this show, my friends, is the show for the latter part. So I appreciate that, Bill. It's going to be an awesome show. I don't know if they're going to have to tie us down. We're going to get so excited over
I'm
this.
fired up already. I've got God bumps on the back of my neck. I'm ready to roll. You got me fired up. Put me in, coach.
Absolutely. But I do want to tell our audience and listeners a little bit about yourself. And then I want you to share a little more. You know, Bill, that you are the business development director at Digital Media Nation. And I love a little bit about you that your personal motto is to serve, connect, grow, and protect. And I love that. You're a husband, you're a father, you're a business development professional with a passion for innovation. You're driven to make people aware of the marketing and technology that matters. Finding impact together, I love that word impact, has long been your philosophy for collaborative and result-driven relationships with businesses wanting to grow. And your greatest value is not only your expertise in the rapidly changing world and marketing technology, along with the business trends that inevitably result by my ability to present these concepts in a context that is easily understood, practical, and readily implementable. And tell us a little bit more about you and your company and a little bit about Spire before we dive in, because we're going to probably be getting a lot of questions about this.
Well, thank you, first of all, for that awesome introduction. It's amazing. That was a great bio, and I was wondering who it was you were talking about, but then I realized that's remarkably similar to what I wrote for LinkedIn. So to make a long story short, Celeste, I've been a career marketer. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, got bit by the earning bug quite early, was blessed with an opportunity to work in family businesses as a teenager and really learn and grow. Truth be told, my family's been in the restaurant business since the 50s. And as soon as I was 12 years old, I was given a tray and work to do. So I got to be in a community business. I got to see what it meant to be around politicians and business leaders, entrepreneurs and professionals. And, I just remember at an early age, gravitating to the salespeople that would come in and the salespeople that would make their way into the bar. And I love politicians as well. But we were in a community that was upper middle class in a very entrepreneurial part of Chicago. It was just something that just endeared me to the idea that people could take control of their lot in life, and they could make a decision to roll up their sleeves and promote, or roll up their sleeves and amplify their value, or really differentiate themselves. And I'd see them do it, in the bar setting, or in the restaurant setting, or in the community setting. And it just struck me as, the best communicators, the happiest people, the most optimistic people were the most successful people. And I got kind of bit by that marketing and promotion and sales and political speak, and just the idea that we could wear our heart on our sleeve, we could tell great stories, and we could differentiate ourselves as professionals and as entrepreneurs in that fashion. And it was funny because, in the 90s and 2000s, the advent of the digital medium, and that was something that really allowed me to kind of grab hold of something new and differentiate myself as a marketer in this space. And then the idea that story and story selling and story branding became a thing was something that I had been around knee high to a grasshopper. I mean, it was just something that we'd always been around. You'd hear the stories being told in the tavern or at the dinner table or in the community restaurant that my family was a part of. And I always saw that as captivating. I was captivated as a young person. And then I made it pretty much my life's work to take that concept of connection and differentiation and value and story and create a career out of it. And that desire brought me to digital marketing, and then eventually to Digital Media Nation, and the product that Chris Nelgrove so eloquently created, which is Reputation Sensei, which is the product that we market nationwide for service professionals and growing businesses all over the United States. And that product is essentially a product that's built on the reputation and the reviews and the edification and validation that the public provides to these businesses that we serve. And we believe in one simple statement as a marketing company, and that is that if the world says it's so, it must be so. So what we seek to do is first concentrate on customer, client, or patient experience. Then we want to make sure we get feedback from those customers, clients, and patients by way of reviews and proof-based marketing. Then we want to take those reviews and amplify them where they need to go: Google Business Profile, Yelp, Facebook, wherever, the websites, of course. And then we want to take those reviews and we want to turn them into marketing assets and really let the happy customers, clients, or patients of those local businesses be the sales force for future growth. And we say it all the time: we want to turn your customers into fans and your fans into your sales force. And that really begins back at kind of how we built our family business back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. It was really based on word of mouth. And technology today allows us to really amplify or promote that word of mouth in a way that we never could before. And in that regard, technology is enabling more humanity. That combined with my idea that I first want to serve people, I want to connect great people, I want to grow, and then I want to make sure we protect what they have, for a rainy day, has really been kind of the pillars that keep this table of marketing, level and sturdy. So that's a little bit about me. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. What can we do for your people today?
Well, and I appreciate that. I was just sitting here listening to that, and I was imagining myself being a listener in the audience or watching us live stream on Facebook or YouTube. And as being in the audience, I was thinking, well, maybe some people might be saying, well, how do I know if I'm a right fit for this company? This company, is, way up here. Maybe I'm just starting here, or I'm somewhere in the middle. So I want to start off with that right there, because that was one of the first things that came through my mind, Bill.
Well, thank you. So, we certainly have verticals, industry niches that we specialize, and that's come, based on experience, and we've experienced some success, and we're grateful for that. And as with that success, you tend to focus your efforts in areas that you can be the most beneficial, and that is in the personal and professional services space. But first and foremost, we serve businesses serving the local community. So these are businesses where, if I was to, ask Siri here, to find me a pediatrician near me, or a ophthalmologist near me, or a roofer, or a deck cleaner near me, or any personal or professional service, typically you want someone within a given area of your home. Now, when you seek information out of your smart device, you're going straight to that Google page. And that Google page on your phone will show you, typically in that map pack or that local pack, they'll show you 3 or 4 listings, typically 3, and they'll show you the individuals or organizations that have the highest ratings and the highest volume of reviews. So 4.9, 300 reviews, all within an area of your home. Now, the reason I start with that is a completely different dynamic than 10 years ago, where the individual organization with the largest website won, essentially.
Right.
But now with local search, specifically for those local businesses, we're talking about a business here in Roswell, Georgia. They're not interested in being found in Los Angeles, California. They're not interested in getting found in Stone Mountain. They're not interested in getting found in McDonough. They want to be found where they exist.
Right.
And those individuals and organizations that are working on our person, whether that's healthcare or quality of life, physical therapy, aesthetics, any of those businesses where they're working on our person, or if we want them to come into our home, or if we want them to work on our business, we're not letting anyone near us, our home, or our business unless there's abundant and clear public validation. That public
Absolutely.
validation today happens on the Google Business Profile, on the Facebook page, on the Yelp page, through the various city pages, those syndication directories that we all know of, and in some cases neglect because they could be a pain. We help organizations with those. Now, who is a fit for us? If you're a personal or professional services business, if you're in healthcare, accounting, law, if you work on people's home or their business, you are quite dependent on that public validation, and you want it abundant and clear and recent. And we help companies manage that process. We can develop that process. We can turn that process into instant lead generation, where we were essentially leveraging the voice of your happy customers to attract more customers. So we can turn a positive 5-star review into instant lead generation for just about anyone we serve. And we do so, in our opinion, extremely affordably, but not everybody's a fit. If you're looking for business, if you're a national brand, we're probably not your company. If you're even multiple locations, we would need to be in each individual location. So we are specifically focused on those local businesses serving their local community. And that's the entrepreneur, the professional, the person, the family that I've been engaged with since I'm a kid. So that's always been kind of really cool to me, to really benefit those small family-run businesses and get them to win against their national, deeper pocketed, better resourced competitors. I love seeing a national franchise get the heck out of town after they've worked with us for a little while.
Well, and also, Bill, you're really almost like a full service provider. I mean, for some of the people on here like me, I'm a little bit IT challenged, and I delegate and hire my stuff out as well. But so tell me about like SEO, a website, lead generation. You mentioned several things. So, you are like a one-stop full package opportunity, right? For like branding and marketing and branding, correct?
Everything you just mentioned, the answer is yes. However, in the same way, I don't need my mechanic to explain to me everything they're doing, as long as the car runs perfectly.
Exactly.
We serve the businesses that have growth on their brain, right? They've already made a decision. This is where we are. This is where we aspire to be. Can you craft a program that will successfully bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be? Now, when we say absolutely, we'd love to help you with that. Yes, we're going to use search engine optimization. We're going to use web development skills. We're going to generally look at your brand. We're not a creative design studio, and we're not branding professionals, but I've got some excellent branding professionals that I work with. But ultimately, we're growth consultants. We are growth engineers. We just use digital marketing specifically to achieve that outcome. So we try not to get too caught up in the details. I mean, don't tell me about the labor pains, just show me that baby.
Yeah.
So a lot of our clients, they want more. They want more leads. They want more traffic. They want more likes. They want more shares. They want more opportunities. They want more patience. They want more stars. They want more volume. They want more ratings. Ultimately, at this point in my career, I hope I do a pretty good job establishing some credibility. I mean, it's important that we know what the heck we're doing. And I don't lack for confidence. Myself and my team, we definitely know what we're doing. But more importantly, I think relatability is what most professionals and most business owners are looking for now. Does this guy understand me? Does this team understand my goal? Can they deliver as promised? Are they congruent? So it's a lot of it's buzzwords, a lot of it's marketing speak, but it matters to us. We are working in the communities we serve. We're living in the communities we serve. We have business from left to right coast, but we've got a lot of business here in Atlanta as well. And yes, we could talk techno babble gobbledygook until we put your whole audience to sleep. And we got more acronyms than they want to know about. But yes, just know that at our team, all of our programmers, designers, developers, content writers, marketing specialists, media buyers, ad optimization specialists, conversion rate optimization specialists, all those people are on staff and they're ready to serve. But our clients, they're less interested in learning how we do it. They're more interested in us doing it quickly, efficiently, and on demand. So I can educate the world. I love talking about it. I can geek out with just about anybody. But in my experience at my age, I've learned most people just want to know, will it work for me and how soon? And so long as we're within their budget, and we usually are, it's a matter of when, not if. And I get excited because there's nothing more exciting than growing businesses. And if there was a mission or altruistic reason for doing what we do, it's that independently run businesses today and the entrepreneur today running a business is a stressful, arduous position to be in. You're typically the last to leave. You're the first to arrive. You're the last to get paid, and sometimes not. Vacations come to you sparingly. There's a lot of stress. You try not to leave that stress on your employees or your team members. A lot of times you bring that stress home. And the divorce rate that happens in entrepreneur-led families is just ridiculously high. And if we can provide a remedy or a method to grow a business, to create some financial stability, to create a replicatable engine of growth and lead generation where the finances become kind of an afterthought, well, if we could save one marriage, we'll grow a bunch of businesses, but if we could save one marriage or that would just make my day. So I tell people all the time, they ask me, why do you do what you do? And I said, well, so I can grow businesses and save marriages.
Absolutely. And I love the fact, Bill, that you use the word grow probably, 6 or 8 times. And one of my mottos is learn, grow, achieve, and prosper. And you didn't hear that word grow a lot, but in the last year to 2 years, I hear more and more people using the word grow, and grow is important. Not only is important, it's right up there, at the top of what we have to do if we're going to stay in the game and we're going to sustain ourselves and go all the way to the top. We have got to learn, grow, achieve, and prosper so we can serve, connect, grow, and protect. I love that. So
Absolutely.
Before we get into the mindset, because as well as I do that mindset is king. For what you do, and this is something as a business coach myself, and I'm going through the same thing. I've already had my conversation with my web guy that takes care of all my website and everything. How often should somebody, because we're getting to the last quarter, and I'm always encouraging my clients to have conversations with some key people between now and end of the year. How often should somebody have a conversation with somebody like what you do about their website and where they're at?
It's a great question. It's a question we get all the time. Listen, as it pertains to websites specifically, and as you mentioned before, we're kind of a full service online marketing group. So we look at all facets of online presence. That's Google Business Profile. That's your social media channels. That's your earned media, all kinds of directories. Anywhere you're mentioned or linked to online is really part of your that overall web that each organization has. The it's recommended for businesses trying to grow that your website be refreshed on an annual basis and completely audited, and in some cases rebuilt every 3 to 5 years. Now, our clients are going through a consistent audit, which means we're constantly keeping track of their links and their, who's linking to the website. Are those links active? Is the website performing? What are the size of the images to improve load time and speed? Is the user experience delightful? Do people find information quickly and efficiently? Are the images congruent with the audience? Is the language congruent with what they're searching for or seeking? That type of ongoing maintenance is really optimal. Now, not everybody can go out there and afford a full-time marketing partner, but for our clients, when they find out just how easy it is, it's not. I mean, if you're going to spend a few $1,000s on a website, and you could, if for growing businesses, if you can spend a few $1,000s a month on a marketing team, these are the things that you get with that spend. You're getting eyes on your website, eyes on your Google Business Profile, eyes on your Yelp profile, all the directories, all the rating systems. And for our healthcare clients, it's even more important. So we're looking at websites and overall online presence on an ongoing basis. We have actually automations in place to alert us when things go haywire before our customers are even aware that something may have been performing less than optimal. Rarely would there come to pass an instance where a website would go down. But if we see that load speeds aren't what they should be, or maybe a link had been taken or back or broken in some cases, we can get it fixed. Our clients are never the wiser. We do that full time. But we're recommending, even for our clients, a complete refresh or rebuild. Like I said, at least every 3 years. And we keep updating content on an ongoing basis, which means the homepage and the tier 2 and 3 pages are being updated weekly, and in some cases daily, depending on the industry. So it's really, think of your online presence as your waiting room. It's a part of your business. You wouldn't wait 3 years to clean your waiting room. You wouldn't wait, a day and a half to clean your bathroom. As a business, you would want that to be tended to first and foremost. Well, you have to realize the first thing your customer sees before they're your customer is your website.
Yeah, a website.
It's like it's like walking into a waiting room and seeing trash on the floor or dirty windows or an unpleasant receptionist. You're just not going to get the opportunity you deserve. And so we make sure that first waiting room, that first impression is the best. So to answer your question and tie a bow on it, I would love to give everybody on this call a free website audit. It would be my absolute pleasure. As a matter of fact, you can go to reputationsensei.com and click the website audit function in the top right, and we'll give you a free full website audit and tell you everything you need to know. It'll be downloaded. It takes about 45 minutes to go through because there's a lot of functionality, but we'll send you the PDF. You can do with it as you wish. But yeah, it's very important that you have your website audited. And if it's not coming back perfect, find out, what would it take to make it, bring it up to if it's an 8, how do we get it to a 10? If it's a 7, how do we get to an 8? So that's kind of how we look at it.
Absolutely. I just didn't want to pass this opportunity up, Bill, because again, we are getting into the last quarter and we're going to talk about mindset of a winner. But that is part of your mindset is your image and who you are and the whole big picture, not just the little picture. It's the big picture. And that's part of it right there. So with that said, I believe we have in our chat right there, we have the information, and you'll give that link again at the end of the show for those people to be able to go in there and get a free website audit right there. So thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So let's dive into our fourth quarter mentality, the mindset of a winner. And what is a fourth quarter mentality and what does it mean?
So the term, in my opinion, the term fourth quarter mentality, it comes from sports. So I grew up playing sports. I played basketball, I played baseball, I wrestled in high school, I played football. And anybody who's ever been in a basketball game or a football game, you know that there's something the coaches will raise the four fingers, right? So right after the third quarter, everybody goes to the sideline. Fourth quarter, what that means to an athlete is let it all out there. We're not, we want to, my coach used to say, make sure your bucket's empty when you come into the locker room, which means you've got nothing left. You give it 110%. You don't want to have regret. You don't want to have remorse. You don't want to ever think, well, shoot, what if, or we don't want to be could have, would have, or should have. We want to really know we left it all out there. So the fourth quarter mentality, first and foremost, is a commitment to ourselves that we are going to give 110% of ourselves right now. There is no overtime. We are going to do everything we can, whether we're down by a touchdown or 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns. We are going to do whatever we can in this quarter to make a game of it. And God willing, we're going to win. And it's that attitude. It's that idea that it's just, we may win, we may learn, but we're going to leave exhausted. We're going to leave with everything out there. There is no decent coach or team or athlete or performer that at the start of the fourth quarter thinks to themselves, well, you know what? I'm just going to rest up for next week. They just don't do that. The game is on now. People are relying on us now. People are, in some cases, are watching us now. But what really drove me, and I relate this to business, is, in football, you've got your teammates. You got maybe 50 guys on a team, and they're all looking at you, and everybody has a part to play. And I don't want to be the one that mailed it in the fourth quarter and cost us an opportunity to kick the game-winning field goal or score the game-winning touchdown or put it into overtime, whatever the case might be. So I'm going to do everything I can. And there is no next quarter. There is no next week. Now, next week may be another game, but this game matters. And specifically in high school and college football, a loss could be your season. It could be a missed opportunity to make the playoffs or to make the postseason or get discovered by that college scout or recruiter. I mean, it matters, right? So fourth quarter mentality is, and if you've ever been in a high school football game or a high school basketball game and you see coach go like this, I get goosebumps, because what it really says to the athletes is, this is it. This is why you run all summer long. This is why you lift all spring. This is why you eat what you eat. This is why you watch those films on, every night and every morning. This is why we get together. This is why we wear jerseys on Friday. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because it's part of our fabric. And when I say fourth quarter mentality, if I walk up to a former athlete like this, they know what I mean. They know, they get it. They're like, oh yeah, it's time. Buck up. Let's go. And in business, it should be the same, but it's not. In business, it's, I set a goal in January, I took some time, I got a tweet, or I saw a cool Instagram meme, and I decided, I'm going to write my goals down. So I did. And then, by about, I don't know, maybe Easter, I kind of forgot about them. And certainly by the 4th of July, they were an afterthought. And then when September came and someone mentioned that we were about to be in the fourth quarter, I was thinking, oh, next year, oh my gosh, I'm going to do the fourth quarter right. I'm not having it. So beginning with the end in mind, I thought we could talk today a little bit about, first, understanding how do you set yourself up for success. So when coach throws up the 4 fingers, you're ready to go and not go to bed. You're ready to actually give it your all. And like I said in our promo, where, it can go one of 2 ways. You can say, I'll mail it in. Next year is just around the corner. I'll set new goals. I'll get those, I promise. Or you can be like, hell no, I'm leaving it all out there. I'm doing everything I said I was going to do. And it's amazing. And we'll get into mindset in a second. We'll get into the expectation, the intention, and the excellence that are all a result of this fourth quarter mentality. But the first thing I want our listeners to understand is anything can happen when you decide you're going to make it happen. And if you've got 90 days, and everybody listening to this program knows that we're in September and we have October, November, and December, we have 2 weeks to prepare for the fourth quarter. And something's going to happen on September 30th. And I want you to think of this. And what are you going to do? Because, there's a 17-year-old kid that knows exactly what to do when he sees those 4 fingers. And
Absolutely.
why is it as adults, we feel like we have an option? And that's really what it's all about.
Well, and Bill, thinking about that, I played sports all through high school and through college. You've played sports, so we get it. I understand it. We were national championships for women's basketball in college, and we understand that. And I use a lot of those analogies with the clients that I work with. But there are a lot of people that never played sports that don't understand the intensity of that. And when you were talking about today, I have an acronym it's called TNT. That's today, not tomorrow. And before we get into that, the other thing that they have to do before September 30th, it's just like, people giving you objections when you're trying to market or sell something. Well, that customer has to think, decide, and respond. And right now we are on the 13th day of the month. So you have about 17 days that you better think, decide, and respond how you're going to finish and what victory celebration you're going to have come December 31st, 2022.
That's right. That's right. And I think it all comes back to, Celeste, the idea that what you look for, you will find. And when I talk about the mindset of a winner, I mean, whether we're talking about Alabama or Georgia or the Patriots or think of any of the Yankees or the Braves, I mean, organizations that are just traditional winners, right? And you hear stories of athletes that are traded to New York or signed by the Braves or they visit Alabama, and it's just different, right? You hear about the Patriot way, right? So
right.
This is a culture, and it's an expectation. And you'll hear athletes say, listen, I went to New England and we were expected to win. I was traded to the Braves and we were expected to win. Whether it was Oakland in the 70s or the Bears in the 80s, I mean, there is a winning culture, and it's a mindset, and it comes back to what you look for, you will find. So imagine, if you will, we're business leaders and we have an expectation of success. We're expected to win. So when we set a goal for the year, for the quarter, in this case, let's just presume we set a goal in January and we broke that goal down into quarters and then months and then weeks. And we're looking at the fourth quarter, regardless of whether we're ahead or behind. It really doesn't matter, because in the same way a football team can score 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, or a basketball team can go on a 32-10 run.
Yes.
Anything can happen if you're looking for success. In other words, if I expect to win, I'm looking for opportunity. My brain, my body, my being is engineered to find ways to achieve the goals I've set. It's interesting. And I have a quote, and I'll say it because I love it. Isn't it amazing that one with definiteness of purpose walks through life watching first as people step aside and then come beside to help them with their aims? Isn't it amazing? The ones with definiteness of purpose walk through life watching first as people step aside, then come beside to help them with their aims. What this means is you first have to be definite. You have to know you're going to win. And then the world will almost conspire. First, they're going to get the heck out of your way because you're on a mission.
And that's going to part.
Yeah. You've been in the grocery store where that mother is like, she got somewhere to go. Dinner's going to be on the table in 45 minutes and she's got to go, right? And you can just tell we're going to get out of her way. Well, life in a business is no different. So first, having definiteness of purpose and looking and committing that we are going to win. What happens is the world essentially conspires to get out of your way. Resistance is removed. Then support is provided. And that's the magical moment. Because when you commit that you're going to put everything you have into the final 90 days, you're going to expect to win, and you're going to speak that into existence. You're going to share that vision, and you're going to share that want. You're going to share that desire with your team, with your vendors, with your customers, with your colleagues, with the networking communities that you associate with. What happens is all of a sudden that which seems so difficult becomes supported by others. And now we have this kind of mastermind alliance where people gather together to collaborate and conspire to deliver for you that benefit. Now all of a sudden your load gets lightened, your wheels get greased, the skids get greased, and things just happen. Opportunities open up to you, and the phone starts ringing, and emails come in, and people are saying yes, and you're like, what's going on? What's going on is you are becoming a magnet of this opportunity. And it all started in these
right here.
That's right. So I personally believe that the fourth quarter mentality is a reminder to first understand what you're going to expect. Look, what are we looking for? Okay. And really crystallize the vision of what the end of the year celebration is going to look like when you blow away those goals you set, in this case, 9 months ago. And first understand and solidify that through really good sound visualization. Then get them on your mirror and talk to yourself every single day, and make sure that you're writing and thinking and meditating on the things that matter to you the most. And I promise you, regardless of where you are, I don't care if you haven't closed a single deal and it's September 13th, you have an opportunity to achieve your goal with the remaining time that we have. And I promise you, if you believe it, it will happen. But I can also promise you, if you don't, ain't no chance it's going to happen.
It's not going to. I'm sitting here thinking, as our audience and our listeners listening in, and I'm also thinking of some of the people that I have met in networking and potential clients. Some people like the excitement. You can feel the excitement, the enthusiasm. You're passionate about this. Same thing with me, excited, enthusiastic, and passionate, because at a young age, we learn to control our mindset. We make our living with our mind, and nobody messes with our mindset. But there are a lot of people out there that when we're talking like this, they're like, it's like puts a brick wall up to them. It's just like, I don't know if they think that they can't picture themselves that way, Bill, or that it's, maybe some people may say, well, that person has an ego problem. It's not an ego problem, is it?
It's a lot of things, and it's a shame. And stinking thinking's a real thing. And, it saddens me when I'm around people that haven't benefited from that early win. The people that have worked really hard, worked on themselves and surrounded themselves with good people, and they put in the time, they put in the effort. And if I'm driven to do anything, it's this: provide someone with the encouragement they need at that moment they need it, because success can be right around the corner. And until we experience that win, that early win, any win, we don't have the validation that our effort is worthwhile. And it's a shame that so many people go through life with energy, effort, dreams, accomplishments left inside. And what we do as professionals, whether you're in sales or business, whether you're aspiring, a goal setter, you're achievement minded, athletics, relationships, it doesn't matter. Until you've won at something where you set out to do something and you achieved it, you don't have the neural pathways set for success yet. What the neurons within our brain, those that fire together, wire together. And when you get that dopamine hit of a win, whether it's in athletics for us or business for others, when you have that, oh baby, it's an addiction. You want that win, you want that victory, you want that achievement. In some cases, it's the joy felt by others. We don't have to be greedy or capitalistic to win. I mean, you could be, we could pour over the community that which overflows our cup. Profit's not a bad word, but I don't know anybody that can do anything until they've taken care of that. So it's important that you first understand how to win. And I think far too few people, professionals, entrepreneurs, individuals, organizations, they go through life with an expectation of defeat. And you see it in their face. As soon as something goes wrong, it's like, oh, this never works out. I mean, how many of us have been at work with people like, oh, this never works for me. I've read that book. Oh, Think and Grow Rich. I read it. Never worked for me. I mean,
it's a great book. It's a great
book. Of course
it is.
Of course it is. But you either get it or you don't. But the thing is, no matter how many times you've fallen down, no matter how many times things haven't gone right, no matter how many bankruptcies or failed opportunities, businesses that have gone under, shuttered, doesn't matter. No matter how many people have quit or you've had to fire, it doesn't change the fact the past is not predictive. You can flip a coin 500 times and 499 heads in a row. It's still 50-50 on the 500th time.
That's right.
You can hire 15 ops directors and all 15 can die before their 90th day. But it doesn't mean the next person isn't the one to take you from 5 to 50 million.
Exactly.
500,000 to a million to 5 million. The idea that the past is predictive prevents more opportunity, in my opinion, than anything, because the past is not predictive. You can learn from the past, but it doesn't mean that my next hire, my next venture, my next sales presentation, my next trip to the gym, my next diet, my next relationship, my next marriage is somehow doomed because my last one was. No, we're different. We've never been in this exact moment with these exact relationships, with our exact energy and our exact wisdom, with our exact resources as we have right now.
Absolutely. And if you don't think you're going to win, you're not going to win. And, you have got to speak that into existence, but you also have to take the action to make it happen. And nobody can do anything more than your level best. But what is your level best? If you go through life casually, you're going to become a casualty. So you need to, take 1x and take it 2x, 3x, till you get it to 10x or whatever you want it to be. But I noticed, and I'm not trying to play this down and take away, but I'm thinking of some of the listeners and people saying, well, that's them. That's not me. They're full of excitement and passion, and they've done this and they've done that, and I haven't. And I've seen with some private client Facebook groups and stuff, and people that say, success and celebrations, and they don't get a lot of engagement in it. And the thing of it is, it doesn't have to be a big success, to share it. It's baby steps, but you have got to share that success. You've got to get that attaboy, attagirl, that encouragement. And enthusiasm breeds more enthusiasm.
Amen, sister. You are preaching to the choir. I think John Maxwell said it best. Encouragement is the most precious thing.
Yes.
And we can give encouragement at any juncture, at any time, any day. How do we know if someone needs encouragement? They're breathing. It's true. That simple. Encouragement is the fuel that drives successful behavior. It's the fuel that drives wins. But to your point, if you don't celebrate a win, no matter how minute or how little, you don't get these neurons to wire together because they're not firing. The firing happens when someone acknowledges your effort.
Yes.
The firing happens when someone, to your point, attaboy, attagirl. When that neural pathway gets set, the body, the subconscious, starts to find remedies, starts to find processes, starts to find relationships, starts to find opportunities to get more of that. That is what norepinephrine, dopamine, adrenaline, oxytocin, these are the hormones that the brain secretes in order to tell us you're doing it right. Right? So a nursing mother nurses a child and she's flooded with oxytocin. Oxytocin is this calming, just almost euphoric hormone that we secrete as human beings, and women secrete it more than men. And as women secrete it, it's nature's way of saying you are to nurse. When you nurse your child, you nourish that child. When you nourish that child grows. Right. That's how the anatomy, the physiology is designed to encourage a behavior. Well, guess what? Success is the same thing. It's like nursing. When you get that norepinephrine, when you get that dopamine, when you get that oxytocin or that adrenaline, what your brain is telling your body is this is working. Give yourself more of that. So to your point, when you attaboy, a well-written email or a well-executed presentation or a great outfit put together, or, hey, I like the way you handled that meeting, or, you know what, that was a great idea. Thank you for sharing. Something that simple could be the catalyst that drives so much positive behavior. We have no idea where that person's going to end up at the end of the day, week, month, quarter, or year. Yeah. So yes, every opportunity deserves validation. Everyone needs to be made to feel important, and everyone needs to be encouraged, because that's what drives that physiological behavior and reward program that matters.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on a little bit here, because we could talk all day about mindset. We could talk all week, all month. How do you set goals?
It's a great question. So I set goals because I love to win, and I want to win consistently.
Yes.
That I first understand what my goal, what is it that I want to achieve? And I typically set that in a time frame. So in this case, we're going to use a year. So if I set a goal, I first think of it, okay, where do I want to be January 1st, 2023? Let's presume it's December of 2022. And I want to think, what do I want to be in January of 2023? So I first visualize that. Then I take that goal and I say, okay, well, in order for me to achieve that goal, what has to happen along the way? What would have to happen? Let me break that goal down into 4 kind of equal or semi-equal achievements. Let's call those quarterly rocks. All of our EOS people out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we call those, the reason they're called rocks is because if you were going to fill a container, you want to put the big items in first, right?
First, yep, that's right.
And we're going to fill in the little pebbles, and then eventually the sand is going to fill in the rest. So we want to take that end goal, that annual goal, and we want to say, okay, what has to happen? How do we break that down into 4 kind of equal or semi-equal achievements? And then those become quarterly rocks. Okay, now we look at those quarters and we think to ourselves, okay, is that realistic? It doesn't have to be easy, but we have to be able to say, okay, if I'm going to achieve that in 90 days, what has to happen in 30 days 3 times in order for that to happen? Now I look at that, now I'm looking at a 30-day. So I started at a year. I said, okay, that's 4 equal achievements or semi-equal achievements. Now, if those equal achievements, those have to be done in 90 days, that's 3 months. What has to happen 3 times in a row in order for me to get that 90-day? Now I look at that and be like, okay, is that realistic? It doesn't have to be easy, but it's got to be realistic. Can I do that? What do I have to do now in 30 days? What do I have to do 4 weeks in a row in order to get that 30-day? Okay, well, is that possible? Is it realistic? Yeah. Now I look at, okay, what has to happen each day of this week in order for me to do this week 4 times in order to reach that month, such that I can reach that quarterly achievement. And if I can do that 4 quarters in a row, I get my annual. When I look at it that way, 1 of 2 things is going to happen. I'm going to get really excited and be like, I got this. Or I'm going to be like, okay, now that's a great goal, but let me see if I can dial it into a way because I want to win. Remember, I started, Celeste, by telling you I love to win. So I don't want to set a goal that is so out there that I can't win consistently. So that's how I do it. If I can't look at the goal, break it down into 4 equal or semi-equal achievements, broken down into 3 monthly, accomplishments, and then weekly kind of activity. If I can't look at it down to the day and say, yes, I can do that, I will do that, or that's easy. That's what you really want to say. Like, oh, I got this. That's the kind of when the light bulb goes on. And you're like, when you're almost like, gee, did I set the goal too low? Because when you break it down into a day, now you're thinking, well, geez, I only need to have 1 appointment a day. How am I going to do it for the other 7.5 hours, right? So that's how I set goals. And by setting goals that way, I can break down an annual goal into 4 equal achievements or semi-equal achievements. I could break each quarter down into 3 monthly accomplishments, and each accomplishment into 4 weekly groups of tasks. Now I'm working daily, right? And I'm checking the box and I'm checking the box and I'm winning, right? And if I have a good week and I know I'm on track, do I have a hard time celebrating a win?
Not at all.
No way, baby. I am high-fiving everybody because I am now 51 weeks to go, 50 weeks, 48 weeks. Guess what? Now we're 14 weeks. We're 14 weeks away. So when I am 14 weeks away and I've successfully executed, the previous 36 weeks or whatever it is, and now do I know what this means? Fourth quarter, baby. 4th quarter mentality. Here we go. And I think that is what makes goal setting, first understanding how to set goals. Most people are like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Okay, how? A goal without a plan, Celeste, is a wish.
Is absolutely. And I love what you just shared because, in my consulting business with my clients, we do the same thing. We have yearly goals, we have quarterly goals, we have monthly goals, we have weekly goals, we have daily goals, and they're held accountable at every aspect of working with me. And a lot of people don't know how to be accountable. And those that are accountable, how did you ever live without being accountable? Everybody is accountable for something in your life, especially those that are successful. You've got to be accountable to do the things you say you're going to do, especially if they work. And you use the word consistency a lot. And one of the things, that we talk about are the 3 C's, and it's confidence, control, and consistency. You have to be confident. You got to be able to control the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly outcomes, and you got to do it consistently.
You're absolutely right. I mean, motivation is people talk about, oh, you're, going to a motivational event or attending a motivational exercise or listening to a motivational podcast. And that's great. But motivation is fleeting. And what wins in business and what wins in life, it's not the effort we give coming out of a conference. It's not
Right.
the effort we give coming out of a book we read. What wins in business is the aggregate of marginal gains performed consistently over time. It is amazing how little we have to do each day, if done every day, to achieve great things. But too often we focus on the end result. We focus on the outcome. We lose sight of output. And so output becomes 0. Therefore, goal becomes impossible.
Possible, yeah.
And then we develop that, I hate to say it, but we develop a defeatist, even loser mentality where we expect negativity. But the reason negativity happens is because actions cease. So consistency to me is nothing more than, did I act today? Did I take
Absolutely.
Am I one step closer? So yeah, like you said, we could talk for hours, but I don't think we have that much time.
No, we don't. So let's go on. How do you evaluate progress throughout the year to course correct, pivot, or adjust outputs, not to have to compromise outcomes?
So in the exact way we just went over. So I break that down into, and I do it first in the planning phase where I understand, is the activity necessary to achieve the weekly, monthly, quarterly, and eventually annual goal? Is that possible? More importantly, is it probable? Because I like I said, I got to win. I want to win all the time. And I want to know each day that I'm one step closer. So that's how I do it. I break it down. And I do it in the planning phase, and then I break it down so that my scorecard throughout the week and the month and the quarter are predictive of that outcome being accomplished. And that's how I can refuel myself. And I'm not looking for energy in October after 3 consecutive achieved quarters. Like I'm jacked. Like are you kidding me? I'm
stretching.
Yeah. It's like, what can I do? Can I actually, how much can I beat my goal by?
Exactly. I was getting ready to say, how much more can I go over that goal?
Yeah,
absolutely. So what is your mindset in September looking towards your 4th quarter?
It's anticipation. It's optimistic. It's opportunistic. This is the time of the year where I get back out there. Like I love my family. I am a family man. I have 2 beautiful boys. I have a gorgeous, loving wife. I have an amazing family, and there's no month that they get less or more of me. But the fact of the matter is, they go back to school, and something happens in me. The man, that the hero factor, the entrepreneur, the professional. It's like, okay, it's work mode. So the mindset in September is first optimism. It's I'm going to do this. Who can help me? Right. So it's easy to double your business. When you think about doubling your business, you think about what more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? But if I was asking you, how would you 10x your business? There's only so much you can do.
That's right.
It's easier to 10x your business than it is to double your business, because when you're doubling your business, you're asking what you can do. When you're 10xing your business, you're asking who can help me.
That's right.
And right now in September, I am asking myself, who can help me? And that's what brings me to more involvement, more community, more networking, more speaking, more podcasts, more radio shows, more earned media, more writing, more blogging, more podcasts, more. Because I believe in the law of reciprocity, which states that which I put out worthwhile into the universe is going to come back to me, not in equal proportion, but 10 times over. So I can't serve enough. I can't get enough quality juice out there. And in September, I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing in October? What am I doing in November? Who am I meeting in December? And so in September, I'm thinking opportunity and optimism. Those are the 2 things.
Very good. Very good, Bill. What, if anything, changes come October, November, and December?
I think what ends up inevitably changing is effort. So
Yes.
it's not something that I do intentionally. I don't say, it's just what happens is I tend to sleep a little less. I tend to wake up a little earlier. I tend to work a little harder. I tend to have a little more energy. If you can't tell, I tend to be a little bit more on task. And it's my opinion that my subconscious and superconscious self is conspiring to achieve, in order to satisfy that thirst for dopamine or adrenaline or oxytocin or norepinephrine. So my body is actually wanting and craving that. So it's providing me with greater peripheral vision, better ears, better vision, and I'm truly more in tune with the activity necessary to win. And that's, in my opinion, if you're catching me somewhere in November, you're seeing a man on a mission. You're seeing a man who's positive, who's optimistic, who's upbeat, who's high energy, who's healthy, who looks and feels fantastic, not in a vain way, but just kind of like, could tackle the world. And that, to me, begets a lot of good things.
Absolutely. We have about 5 minutes left in the show, Bill. And, and I think part of this mentality and goal setting and this win factor also ties into, let's talk a little bit about networking. How do we tie networking into that mentality? And I believe you have a networking event coming up on the 22nd of this month, Spire. So let's talk a few minutes about that, please.
Absolutely. So the first thing I'll tell you is Spire is a community, a group of individuals here in Atlanta. It was founded by myself and Brigitte Hofferle back, I think it was probably about 2017, 2018, somewhere in that area. And we just believe that a group of professionals should have a place to gather on a regular basis here in Atlanta, where they could give and receive support, share ideas, glean best practices, collectively serve one another in the causes that we hold dear. And we believe that mattered. And we believe that people needed that encouragement, that opportunity, that support. And so much of when you talk about mindset and fourth quarter mentality and being goal oriented, and we don't do this alone. Like we rely heavily on a support team and a support structure and a resource group. And if you work for IBM, you've got HR departments and continuing education departments and development departments, personal professional development teams, and they're all working to make sure you get to where you need to go. Right. But if you're a professional or an entrepreneur, who's looking out for you? Nobody. And it's like, why can't we have a resource group? Why don't we have a group of individuals that we're not there to pass out business cards. We're not there to look for a new business. We don't go to a Spire event to write business. We write business because we went to a Spire.
Right.
It's now Spire, if I must say, is an acronym. It's a 5-word acronym, and it stands for service, proximity, intention, reciprocity, and excellence. I've got a YouTube channel. It's if you go to Spire ATL or Spire-Atlanta on YouTube, you'll find our YouTube channel. There's plenty of videos to educate you. We also have a website, Spire-ATL.com, where you can learn all about it and click on the YouTube link or the Facebook link or the LinkedIn link at the bottom of the webpage and get even more information. Yes, if I could plug it, we are meeting September 22nd at the Gypsy Kitchen, which is in the Buckhead Village District. It's right next to Southern Gentleman. Great restaurants right there in Buckhead. Tom Allen, who's the general manager, is a close personal friend. He's so gracious to give us the space. The doors are going to open at 5:30. We're going to have God knows how many. Could be 50, could be 100, could be 150. But it's an event 100% focused on our community member, where people can gather and get to know one another. We haven't been together since April, so I sincerely expect a large turnout. I know it's going to be exciting, and I know we're going to be well cared for. I'm so looking forward to it. It is titled Summer's Wave Goodbye. It is September 22nd, which is the autumnal equinox, the first day of fall, last day of summer, however you want to refer to it. It's the most precious time of the year, and it's the time that we all get geared up to face the fourth quarter with energy, enthusiasm, and excitement. Because when we have those things, there's nothing we can't accomplish. And there's going to be people that you meet that are going to support you. And I promise, if you attend, there are going to be people that need to meet you. So it is an awesome event. It's just a bunch of people getting together, being happy and supportive and optimistic and encouraging and enthusiastic. And if those kind of things resonate with you, or you need a little bit more of that in your life, well, I encourage you to find the Spire YouTube channel and find the Spire website and the Spire Facebook page and the Spire LinkedIn page and get connected. I can't wait to meet you.
Absolutely. Well, Bill, we are right at the top of the hour. What an honor and privilege to host you today on WCEG Talk Radio. You are a man with a wealth of knowledge. You have a heart of gold. Our heart loves your heart. And I love what you're doing with Spire. I love the mindset mentality. And I welcome our listeners to reach out to us and chat. You can find the information for Bill Courtright or myself, Celeste Giordano at celestegiordano.com. And I look forward to seeing you at Spire. Have a wonderful and blessed day, Bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celeste. Great job. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.